Think you know rock music? Forget everything you know about ordinary music quizzes. This time, you're a rock detective. Every round shows you 3 rock legends, but somewhere in the scene, there is a hidden clue. Look carefully, find the evidence, and solve the mystery before time runs out. 15 seconds each. Let's see if you can become a rock detective. Riddle number 1. Case number 1. One of these guitarists once turned a performance into one of the most famous moments in rock history. A guitar went up in flames. But who was responsible? Don't look only at the musicians. Find the clue. The answer is number 1, Jimi Hendrix. In 1967, Hendrix famously set his guitar on fire during a performance, creating one of the defining images of the psychedelic rock era. He had already been using dramatic stage tricks, but the burning guitar became legendary. The official Hendrix site even describes an earlier performance where he lit his guitar during fire. Riddle number 2. One of these musicians arrived at a concert without a very important piece of equipment. His guitar hadn't simply been misplaced, it had been stolen. Can you find the evidence? Number 2, Mick Ralphs. In the early 1970s, Ralphs' guitar was actually stolen at a gig in Long Island during Mott the Hoople's American tour. The incident later became part of the story behind the band's song All the Way from Memphis. Ian Hunter later clarified that the guitar wasn't simply left behind, as the song's story suggests. It was stolen. Riddle number 3. One of these rock stars made a surprising lifestyle change after visiting Spain. Look carefully at the restaurant. Something in the background gives away the answer. The answer is number 3, Ringo Starr. Ringo later recalled that during the Beatles' 1965 trip to Spain, he attended a bullfight and said he became vegetarian that day. He remembered the event decades later, joking about how the experience affected him. So the bull ring hidden in the restaurant was the key clue. Riddle number 4. One of these drummers faced a life-changing accident. But instead of leaving music behind, he completely changed the way he played. Can you find the clues? Number 2, Rick Allen. In 1984, Def Leppard drummer Rick Allen lost his left arm in a car accident. Instead of abandoning the drums, he worked with engineers to develop an electronic system that allowed him to reproduce parts previously played with his left arm using his feet and remaining hand. He returned to live performance in 1986. Riddle number 5. One of these musicians became famous for destroying guitars on stage, but the story didn't actually begin as a planned stunt. Can you find what happened? Number 3, Pete Townshend. In 1964, during a Who performance at the Railway Tavern, Townshend accidentally broke the top of his guitar against the venue's low ceiling. Instead of stopping, he destroyed the instrument completely. The audience reacted strongly, and what began as an accident eventually became one of the Who's most famous stage traditions. Riddle number 6. This case happened on television. One drummer left the audience staring through a cloud of smoke. But which drummer prepared the explosion? The answer is number 1, Keith Moon. In 1967, The Who appeared on the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour. Moon had already developed a habit of putting explosives into his bass drum, but for this television performance, he used far more than usual. The resulting blast was so powerful that it badly singed Pete Townshend's hair and briefly knocked the show off the air. Riddle number 7. One of these guitarists didn't buy his most famous guitar. He built it with his father. But the clue isn't the guitar. Look around the workshop. Number 2, Brian May. As a teenager, Brian May and his father Harold built the guitar that became the famous Red Special. They started the project in 1963 and used surprisingly ordinary materials, including wood from an old fireplace. The guitar took more than a year to build and eventually became a central part of Queen's sound. Riddle number 8. One of these guitarists couldn't find the guitar he wanted, so he decided to build one himself. Find the evidence. Number 3. Eddie Van Halen. Eddie built the famous Frankenstrat because he couldn't find a guitar that gave him exactly what he wanted. The instrument combined features and components associated with different guitar designs. The result became one of the most recognizable custom guitars in rock history. Riddle number 9. 3 guitarists. 3 guitars. But one guitar has something missing. Can you spot it? Number 1. Keith Richards. Richards is famous for using 5-string open G tuning, especially with his Telecaster, known as Macabre. He often removes the lowest string because the bass player covers that low note, leaving him with the 5-string setup that became part of his distinctive rhythm guitar sound. Riddle number 10. This case took almost half a century to solve. One guitar disappeared, then 45 years later, it came back. Find the clue that identified it. Number 2. Jimmy Page. Page's beloved 1960 Gibson Les Paul Custom, nicknamed Black Beauty, was stolen in 1970 during Led Zeppelin's touring years. It remained missing for decades. A friend eventually identified the guitar by comparing its unusual 12th fret mother-of-pearl inlay with old footage, and Page recovered it 45 years after the theft. Riddle number 11. One of these musicians became involved in one of rock's strangest stage incidents. But the clue is not the musician. Look on the floor. The answer is number 3, Ozzy Osbourne. During a 1982 concert in Des Moines, Iowa, a bat ended up on stage and Ozzy bit its head off, reportedly believing it was a rubber toy. The incident became one of the most notorious stories in rock history. Ozzy later received rabies vaccinations because of the incident. How many cases did you solve? Comment your score below and tell us, which clue was the hardest to find? If you enjoyed the challenge, hit like and subscribe for more rock mysteries and music detective quizzes. See you in the next case.